Oh yes, I'm Nick Shell. We're going to delve into the comments tree because, as you know, when you leave a comment on one of my videos, it very well may just end up in the comments tree. Let's see who we can help today. Is there something weird on my eye? Oh, that was a reflection of my eye. Okay. I made a video called Receding Hairline Photos, age 25, 10 years younger. The person who commented, I don't know how to pronounce the name. It's like Aurorier, but I'm going to just call you Rory. Rory. That's the name I'm going to call you because I don't know how to pronounce it right. It says, quote, "My girlfriend of 2 years left me in November 2016 because I was going bald. She said that no woman will find a bald man attractive, and to my dismay, I am starting to realize, with an S, meaning he's British, that she is right." He goes on to say, "Women have little interest in going on dates with a bald man," end quote. Now, he also left a comment on another video that's from several months back, Receding Hairline Wife Interview number 1, in which he went on to say, quote, "My girlfriend left me when I went bald. I need to save up for a hair transplant or something to win her back," end quote. So there's a lot to unpack right there. I feel that aside from a professional psychologist or something like that, a relationship expert, aside from that, I'm probably the best person to address this from a non-professional point of view, which is what I have, a non-professional. Here's where I'm coming from. I kind of dated a girl like this before I met my wife. She was the one right before my wife that once I realized what she was up to, I got out of there. And she reminds me of his girlfriend, the one that just broke up with him. Bottom line is, insecure. She is insecure. And therefore, she spreads that toxic energy to the guy. Unless he proves that he is ultimately very secure despite any shortcomings she may come up with. Now, my theory is that it's a good possibility that she was aware of Rory's insecurity about his hair, and he was talking about it, and he didn't seem secure, and that's why she knew to pounce on that, because she thought, you know what, this is a nice guy, but ultimately, I want to make sure he thinks I'm a villain here. I want to cut ties with him and let that be it. So she did something mean and cruel. Is she said she broke up with him because of his hair, but because he went bald. I don't believe that. In fact, here's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of a documentary I saw on Netflix called Unhung Hero. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it's about a guy who proposed to his girlfriend at a stadium on a jumbotron or whatever, and she said no. And then afterwards, she revealed the reason she wouldn't marry him, and the reason she was ultimately breaking up with him was because he wasn't big enough. Yes, I do mean it like that. Well, there's a whole documentary. It's amusing, it's interesting, it's entertaining, but even at the end of it, I thought, nah, she didn't break up with him for that reason. Girls, they don't break up with guys that they've been dating that long over something as petty as that or going bald. They don't. They break up with a guy for other reasons. And if the girl, perhaps again, because she herself is insecure and doesn't want to tell the real reason she's breaking up, what she does is she does a cheap shot. She says, "Oh yeah, the thing that bothers him the most about himself, let me just pounce on that because I'm insecure about myself, and therefore I can't break up with him legitimately. So let me just do this because that's what toxic people do." And I always talk about in my videos, I talk about surrounding yourself with people who have positive energy, not negative energy. But people who have low self-esteem are going to project that to other people. That's why you'll see people often in my comments section that will try to insult me. And it never works because they're the ones with low self-esteem, not me. You know, it's a projection of them. So with that being said, I believe that that's what's happened in both these cases. And that the girlfriend on Unhung Hero and my friend Rory today, he was with a girl who, and what's interesting about this is typically that's one of the things that girls want most out of a relationship with a guy is security, knowing there's that commitment. She had that, but my theory is that she felt he didn't have enough confidence in himself, and therefore, because she was so insecure, she reflected her insecurity back, took a cheap shot, and said that was the reason. So, I know for Rory it's got to be hard because he was with her for 2 years. I'm not passing that off like it's no big deal, because that is. But the problem though is when he, on the other video, when he says, I need to save up enough money for a hair transplant or something to win her back. And what Roy's got to know here, she's not someone you want to win back. Someone who would, and again, she didn't break up with you because of your hair. She used that as the reason because she's insecure. But even then, what I'm proposing to you is, even if you got a hair transplant, you still wouldn't be good enough for her, because she doesn't want you. What you have is not what she wants. She wants someone that has the opposite of what you want. In my case, when I was dating the girl like that, ultimately she didn't want someone who would be committed and care about her. She wanted someone who was going to treat her bad. She was looking for a bad boy. So that's when I ran, because I'm like, no thanks. I don't want. I think this girl had already moved on in her mind a while before that. She's looking for some kind of wound to cause in it. You don't want her back. That's my point. You don't want her back. You don't want a girl like that. She's insecure, and she wants to pass it along to you. Now, how do you move on? You move on. Well, and somebody already mentioned in the comments I saw, they suggested working out, and even in the interview with my wife, she had said that too. She said, as far as physically, what's going to be attractive is as a guy who works out and has muscles. Not that I do, but she said that it's not even simply that makes up for not having hair. Like, it's that actually is something that matters, whereas hair doesn't. So yeah, my suggestion, like somebody already said in the comments, start working out, transform that way. If you got to become the bald guy, become the bald guy. I don't know how much hair you've lost, and even if a hair transplant would save it at this point, I don't know. Either way, though, embrace that. If it's too late, then you can start buzzing it off or shaving it off, and now you're the guy that works out, because that's ultimately what matters anyway. And what that's going to do is it's going to build confidence in yourself, which in theory, as far as why she broke up with you to begin with, I think it was either she was so insecure about herself and she saw some insecurity that you had, and you didn't have enough security in yourself to also spread to her, like, because she was that insecure. I think is a good amount of what it was. Or again, she didn't really want someone that was going to treat her right. I've known girls like that they don't want someone who's ultimately going to treat them right, because they didn't see that in their own father. He wasn't there for them. He wasn't supportive, and therefore he doesn't treat them nice. So when she does find someone who does care about her, she sabotages that and she messes it up, right? So there's a lot of psychology here, but I promise you, the real reason she broke up with you was not because of you going bald. That is not realistic. It's simply not the truth. So this is my advice to you. Start working out. Start embracing that. Start embracing yourself as the bald guy if you've lost too much hair. But forget about getting a hair transplant if you're only doing it to try to get her back, because there's nothing you should do to try to get her back. Run from her is what I'm going to say. She's not good for you. And anything you do to win her back will be in vain, because she's not going to appreciate you. She's not. She's gone, and it needs to stay that way. You got to find someone who ultimately cares about you. Imagine this. So I kind of was dating a girl like that. I ended it. I got out of there. I saw it was toxic. And then what happened? A couple weeks later, I met the girl who would become my wife. And now we've been together for 10 years and married 8.5 of that. My hair's doing a weird thing today. But that's what I have to say. In the comments section, help Rory out here. Help him understand that I have merit in what I'm saying here. I'm not a professional by any means, but seriously, the hair transplant's not going to win her back. You don't want a girl like that. She was being very manipulative and insecure in what she was doing to begin with. She's got issues. You want someone who believes in themselves and believes in you. And even if you got your hair transplant, then she'd find some other reason, some petty, insignificant, vain reason to try to run you off. For whatever reason, she can't handle you. And that may be a good thing, maybe because she's too flawed to handle someone who is as secure as you. I don't know. But those are all of my takes on this. Now, in this last 30 seconds, I want to point out I'm one person away from having 1,000 subscribers. So one lucky person will get to say they were in the original 1,000 people here in this group as part of the Brotherhood of the Hair Loss. The second thing I want to say is I'm going to be doing some videos that aren't about hair loss, and don't freak out. I got to do other stuff to build my audiences on the side, because I get a lot of views from other things. So keep that in mind. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here.